We start with a Fox News alert just moments ago. The Senate approving its budget blueprint. The bill passing 52-48 after a nearly 10-hour vote-a-rama. All Republicans voting for the bill except Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. You are watching Fox and Friends First on this Friday morning. I'm Carly Shimby.
You're literally watching history unfold on your TVs right now. I am Todd Pyro. We have Chad Pergram on the phone with the details. Chad, obviously this thing just ended moments ago. What can you tell us? We saw how close the vote was. What do we need to know?
Well, as you pointed out, this is a budget blueprint. This kind of sets the table for Senate Republicans to forge ahead with their approach to pass President Trump's policy agenda. This package focuses on border security, beefing up the military, and energy production. Notably, the president said he preferred what the House plan is. It's a little more comprehensive because it includes tax cuts. And you noted the nay vote by Rand Paul, the Republican senator from Kentucky. I talked to him on Wednesday, and he made a floor speech about this late in the afternoon yesterday, where he said, this is not real money. He said, you talk about DOGE doing all these cuts. He says that's fine. He said what we ought to be doing is actually putting teeth into this to make some of these cuts official, because this is just aspirational, what they're doing here, number one. Number two, he said what it's doing also is authorizing essentially spending more money. And there's some senators and some fiscal conservatives on both sides of the Capitol who say they're very leery about them, say, cutting taxes, approving more money for the military, approving more money for border security, about $175 billion, and then maybe blowing a hole in the deficit. They have to make the math work on this somehow. But what has happened, the Senate is ahead in the process here. Again, this sets the stage to do this. The House, they're going to try to do their version of the bill next week. It's unclear if they have the votes. But here's the most important thing, and this is very technical, but it is of paramount importance. They can't get over a filibuster unless they have this budget blueprint in place. You'll hear this term batted around, budget reconciliation. What that allows you to do, if you have a budget blueprint in place like this, is you can bypass a filibuster. You don't need 60 votes. There are only 53 Republicans in the Senate. So that's important. Here's the rub. The House has to approve the same plan. We don't know whether or not the House of Representatives can approve anything, let alone sync up with the Senate. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, said that this was a non-starter. So, they might be dead in the water unless, A, they can get on the same page, and B, both bodies be able to adopt the same thing. Then they can move on to the bill, whatever that might be, with tax cuts or deficit reduction or anything else. Guys?
Yeah, and Chad, the question remains how much the Senate's approval of this budget blueprint really matters, because on Wednesday, Donald Trump said that he supports the one big, beautiful bill that the House is thinking up. So what about that?
That's the other concern, too. Guess what? It's always easier to do one thing rather than two things. And so there's some people thinking if they are, just forging ahead with this plan, and J.D. Vance, the vice president, alluded to this at CPAC yesterday. Some people think that this is really just having an option. I asked John Thune, the majority leader, about that the other day. I said, aren't you defying the wishes of the president? And he said, well, we like to have, as he termed it, optionality. So people are kind of viewing this as a fallback. If you're in the House of Representatives and, you have that narrow majority over there, you might think that the Senate is going to jam you. It's a take it or leave it scenario. And this is typical, that you have some tension between the House and Senate no matter what. This is a little bit higher than that, frankly. And it's going to be very tough to get anything through the House of Representatives just because of that narrow margin. You've heard me say it many times. It's about the math. They're not going to get any help from the Democrats on this. You might have some defections. I received several unsolicited phone calls from aides who work from conservative members this past week, or some other conservative members themselves, who said, look, this deficit reduction is a problem for us. They said, I think all they're focused on are these tax cuts, and you can't call for all this additional spending and cut these taxes as deeply as you would like, and then, say you're going to balance the budget. That math does not add up. So that's a problem in solving this riddle as well, guys.
Yeah, we had Greg Stubbe on yesterday. He said, look, Thomas Massie, likely a no on the Republican side. Chip Roy, who's often bandied about as being a no, could be a yes. While we wait for that math, as you like to say, play out, I want to focus on something you said in your first answer. Clearly, if this needs 60 votes to pass, whatever ultimately the end of the bill is, that is not going to happen because 7 Democrats are not going to help out the Republican Party. I have heard, and I want you to break this down a little bit more, that by and large, you only get one shot at the reconciliation apple each year. And that's another reason why Trump wants one big, beautiful bill, because you'll get all of this, border and tax and everything else in that one bill, get your one-bite reconciliation, and move on. Thoughts on that, Chad?
Well, it depends on the Senate parliamentarian. A name you're going to start to hear in the next few weeks is Elizabeth McDonough. And you've had Republicans and Democrats where they have used more than one budget reconciliation package in a Congress in a year. That's possible. It depends on how creative you can be. And they have to make sure that they fit things in here which are fiscal in nature. If you're using budget reconciliation, this process, it can't add to the deficit over a 10-year window, and that's something that other conservatives are going to look for. They're going to say, well, wait a minute, do we have any of the pain up front, the cuts up front? If it's all outside that 10-year window, then, they'll just say, oh, we'll just renew them. I mean, why do you think that the Trump tax cuts are about due to expire? Because they put the hard stuff at the end here when they passed these back in 2017. And that's the real fear at the White House and also among, Republicans on Capitol Hill, that if they're not able to renew those Trump tax cuts, then guess what? Taxes are going to go up big time at the end of the year, and that's going to be a problem. So, this is a funny, as I say, puzzle to figure out and to solve.
Okay, so ultimately, I mean, the Senate Republicans passed this blueprint, so that's a good thing. But what does today look like? Do they send this over to the House? What comes next?
Well, what you could do, the House and Senate both have to pass something. Yes, they can send this over, but the House has to pass something. And they could pass their bill, their resolution, I should say, that's different. And then you conference it or you play what we call parliamentary ping pong, where they bounce the ball back and forth between the House and Senate, and maybe the House eventually just accepts, what the Senate has sent over, or vice versa, the Senate accepts what the House is. That's not unheard of, but they have to get on the same page. The House has to pass something. The other thing that we've talked about, and I've asked a lot of conservatives about this for a while now, I said, how about just passing a shell that it really has nothing? It's stripped down to the studs. You do that, and then you work out the details. They could do that because that counts. You're able then to advance to this process of bypassing the filibuster in this very unique, arcane process, budget reconciliation. And I want to underscore for the viewers that this is not a parliamentary trick or anything. The Republicans used this to approve the tax cuts in 2017. They used this process to try to undo Obamacare back in 2017. The Democrats used this process, reconciliation, at the end of the day to amend Obamacare. They kind of passed the first version, and then what they had to do immediately was turn around and pass the next version. They had to do it via this process, and it's all because you can't get over a filibuster. But again, I want to come back to that fiscal part in nature, because they will throw out things if they A, are adding to the deficit, or B, are not their policy in some form, guys.
I'm going to boil this down to one sentence.
What?
This is all going to come down to Donald Trump putting pressure on the Senate and the House at the end of the day. Chad Pergram with an amazing discussion there, an amazing explanation of what we're facing. We appreciate you staying up with us.
Yeah, there's going to be
always.
some sleepy senators today.
Sleepy senators, you know it.
Thank you, Chad.